Welcome to Pushing the Limits, the podcast that gets deep into the psyche of extraordinary achievers across all genres, cutting to the chase to unlock the secrets of their success, their achievement, philosophies, and motivations. Join us in the quest to find out what makes the movers and shakers of our world tick and what gems of wisdom we can learn from them. Now, over to your host, Lisa Tamati.
Hi everybody, it's Lisa Tamati here from Pushing the Limits, and today on the podcast we're going to be talking about hydration and water. Now this is something that's important for everyone, but especially athletes, so I'm going to look at it from an athlete's point of view, but also have in the back of your mind this is valid for everybody. So your body is made up about 60% of water, so you have to be making sure every day that you're getting an optimal amount of water. And that's essential for feeling good and having good energy and good health levels. And we all sort of know this in the back of our heads, but we don't always practice it. Now, water also needs to have electrolytes with it. So if your body isn't getting the right amount of electrolytes in it, or you're an athlete and you're sweating a lot, you're training a lot, then you might need to do what I do, which is I take elite drops, ELETE, or CMD drops, and have those as electrolytes that go into my water every day, and that just makes sure that my body can actually hold on to the water that it's getting, and that has to be in the right ratios. Of course, you don't want too much electrolytes, but you also don't want to have not enough, otherwise it just goes straight through you. Now, water transports nutrients throughout the body. It aids with your digestion, temperature regulation, everything about detoxification. So your liver, your kidneys, they all need an amount of water to cleanse the body of all the stuff that's coming out, the oxidation, the toxicity from whatever toxins we get exposed to. It helps promote good joint health because you're getting all the synovial fluids need water, obviously, healthy bowel movements, and we all know that we don't perform mentally as well either if we're dehydrated, and sometimes just having something especially to note with older people, often they have I've noticed this with my mum. If she doesn't have enough water to drink and she's dehydrated, then her mental capacity and her ability to process information goes down. So if you've got an older person that you're noticing they're not quite as with it, their memory's failing, before you start panicking that it might be something bigger, check that their dehydration levels, they're getting enough water into them. So water is important for thousands of metabolic processes in the body every day. And a lot of people, and once again in the family I see, but I drink a lot of tea, I drink coffee, I'm having that. But tea and coffee are actually diuretics if they've got caffeine in it. And I'm not talking about herbal teas, but other teas. And this actually, you need to counteract that. If you have a cup of tea, you actually need another 2 glasses of water really to hydrate the body on top of it. So don't count your coffee or your caffeinated drinks or soda drinks, but definitely not. They don't count as part of your requirements that you need for water every day. Now, obviously, the amount of water that you're using is also temperature dependent. So if you're in a hot climate or if you're in a humid hot climate, you're going to need a different amount than you do when it's cooler. Conversely, when it's a dry winter sort of cold, you're going to need, again, more water than you think. We're exposed then to heating, to air conditioning, all of that sort of thing can dry the body out. Another thing to note with hydration is if you're traveling a lot and you're in airplanes a lot, that's one of the worst. I mean, I'm always, every time I go on a trip somewhere and I get out of a long plane ride, I'm always feeling dehydrated for the next couple of days, no matter how much water I drink. So it really does suck it out of you. So we need to be prioritizing and getting into a regular habit with our drinking habits. Now, depending on your weight, you can sort of gauge what your daily intake of water should look like. And remember, this is without all those other drinks that are actually diuretics. So if you weigh around the 60 kilograms, you need about 2 litres of water a day. If you're 75 kilograms, you should be looking around the 2.5 litres a day. For 90 kilogram people, around the 3, and if you're over 105 kilograms, you're going to need 3.5 litres per day. So that's a fair amount. So you want to have sort of set things when you get up, you have set routines of when you're going to take your water in, because it's so easy to forget. So when you get up in the morning, one of the things that I like to do is to get up and have 2 whole glasses of water with either lemon juice in it or apple cider vinegar and some electrolyte drops in it. Now that sets me up for a good day. Now if I have lemon juice, the citric acid can really kickstart the detoxification in the body, and the water itself really aids in getting the metabolism cracking in the morning and getting you on a track for a good day's hydration. When we've been sleeping overnight, we often, especially if we're mouth breathers, we use up a lot of water over that period. There's good 8 and 10 hours or 9 hours or whatever you're in bed where you're not drinking, and your body is usually dehydrated by the time you get up in the morning. I know that I always have a very dry mouth. In fact, I get up during the night and have a drink as well, just to make sure that I'm not dehydrating too much. The times of the day that you actually have the water too can matter, especially if you're in hot climates. And this is in regards to perhaps racing in hot climates and desert climates. What I've found is that it's very important, yes, to have your drinks during the day, but to save some for the evening if you've got limited rations. When you have, I remember crossing the Libyan desert, we only had 2 litres of water a day, and temperatures, around the 40 degrees during the day, and then very cold at night. And I had most of my ration in the night when it was cooler, because my body was able to take up that water and use it where it was absolutely necessary instead of sweating it straight back out. I don't know if that's actually backed up by science, but that's certainly what I was taught, and what I was taught in the desert by people who live there, so I imagine they know what they're doing. But getting back to some more, everyday water requirements. When you get up, have those 2 glasses of water a day. Then it's really good to have a litre bottle with you, and then you can, throughout the day, that's with you all the time. And this preferably should be a glass bottle or a stainless steel bottle, and it shouldn't be drinking out of plastics. And I'm bad for this too. I always slip up and end up drinking out of plastics. Now, why shouldn't you be drinking out of plastics? Well, they leach some nasty things into the water, and this can lead to estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance can lead to insulin resistance, and a plethora of other problems in the body, hormone imbalances, and can actually make it more difficult to lose weight. You can have problems with hormonal changes. So it's really important that you try and drink out of glass or out of stainless steel. When you're getting too much estrogen from the likes of plastic bottles, then it blocks the estrogen receptor sites, and that means your body essentially becomes insulin resistant and makes it very difficult for the body to lose weight. And then you become estrogen dominant, and there's a whole plethora of problems with that. So go and get yourself a stainless steel bottle, preferably around the 1 litre if you can, or a glass bottle, and then have that with you all throughout the day. Then you can mark, if you weigh 60 kilos and you're aiming for 2 litres a day, then you can set yourself a benchmark. By midday I want to have drunk so much, by the evening meal I want to have drunk so much. I find also having a glass of water maybe half an hour before a meal sort of curbs the appetite. If you're having problems with your weight, you might want to try that little trick. It makes you feel not quite so hungry. Now, what type of water is the next thing? The water quality that you're drinking. And we've always been told, oh, we've got great drinking water, we can drink out of the tap, and we've got some of the greatest water in the world. Well, we do we do have good water, but it is still chemically treated with the likes of chlorine, which is basically a mild bleach, and besides having a bit of a bad taste, It kills any bad bacteria, but when you're drinking a lot of it, it can kill the bacteria in your mouth and your gut, and that's not a good thing. So we don't want to be having the chlorine. Then there's the argument around the fluoride, which is still ongoing, but fluoride does block iodine in the body. So if iodine's a problem, and for a lot of us it is, and if you've got thyroid issues, that might be where that's part of the problem. So you want to be able to get good quality water that is pure and mineralised and slightly alkaline. I mean, we're lucky here in New Plymouth where I live. We have a place called Pure One that has really, really alkaline water, and I toddle down there with my 25 litre can every week and a half or so and get that filled up, so that my drinking water at least is pure and very alkalising. So get a good quality mineral water if you can, or at least some sort of water, bottled water. Unfortunately, most of the bottled water does come in plastic. You can't win them all, but do your best to try and find the best type of water there is out there. So yeah, most of our bodies are acidic nowadays, and we have a whole bunch of different functions within the body that don't work as well when we're acidic, like your digestive system, your kidney function, etc. And so having these pure water and having enough water can really help flush the body out, keep it clean. It's pretty logical. It's just like washing the dishes. If you wash your pots and pans before you get to the plates, you're going to have dirty water, and it's not going to be clean, and it's not going to be good for washing and cleaning, is it? So pretty much a bit of a simple analogy there for you, but yeah. So that's basically it on water. Make sure that you're getting it, prioritise it. That's what you've got to do, and get up and start your day properly. You may not want to be doing a large amount of water just before you go to bed. For obvious reasons, you might not want to be peeing all night, which I always end up doing for some reason, because I always get to the end of the day and go, oh, I haven't drunk enough, and end up having to get up 2 or 3 times a night, which isn't ideal. So try and avoid that too. So thanks very much for listening today. If you like these podcasts, we'd love it if you would subscribe to the podcast. We have in-depth interviews regularly with really interesting characters, as well as some educational content around health, fitness, nutrition, and of course my big thing, which is mental skills coaching, mental toughness coaching, emotional resilience and mindset skills. So we'd really appreciate it if you get the word out there for us, because that's the only way we can get this podcast out there and continue to do the good work, is if you share it, if you subscribe, if you rate it and review it, give us lots of 5 stars. We'd be very appreciative of that. So thanks very much for listening today, and we'll talk to you again soon.
That's it for this episode of Pushing the Limits with your host, Lisa Tamati. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, and share all this goodness with your networks so we can impact more lives with positive insights and inspiring conversations. And check us out online at www.lisatamati.co.nz.